Hello, I'm Alexander of Team 3. I would like to welcome you to the final training topic of this course. But first, I would like to summarize what we've accomplished this far. As you remember, we had three topics of this training. The first one was diagnose the problem, where we worked to find the problem, why productivity has plummeted within the company. We found that there was a problem with the safety in our workplace. We have employees out for injuries, having to hire outside contractors. The outside contractors do not have enough experience and are contributing to the high incident rate. The result of this is that productivity has decreased. We worked together on how to diagnose the problem earlier, if you remember. Our second topic was design a turnaround plan. In this part, we discussed what needed to be implemented in order to decrease the incident rates and in turn increase productivity. These are all things that we discussed. All employees will be trained and certified to run heavy equipment like a forklift. There will be a checklist that will have to be checked off and completed to make sure the equipment is working and running properly before usage. Equipment should be equipped with lights and sound devices. There should be a spotter helping the person driving the forklift. Regarding the amount of injuries from falls within the company, we also discussed the following. We are going to implement a PPE for work over open pits, maintenance on cranes, and how to access heights. Scaffolds should be inspected daily with a checklist being completed. Importance of keeping platforms free from debris. A safety harness will be issued to every employee along with training on how to use the harness. The trainee will also be able to look for wear, tear, and damages to the harness. Again, this is just a reminder of what we have gone through previously. We will now move into today's topic. In order for this training to be successful, I will ask all those attending to please keep their handout document present. We will ask you to follow along with us, and your involvement will be key. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Rhiannon from Team 3. Today we are going to start with a performance review. Performance reviews are very important in the workplace. You need to be able to review how your direct reports are living up to your expectations. Today we're going to review how the safety supervisor is performing since we implemented our turnaround plan to overhaul the factory's safety procedures. Now, if you'll take a look at your handout document, you will see the performance review section. We're going to review this together. First, this task that was assigned was ordering and implementing new PPE gear. PPE is personal protective equipment, and each employee was to be trained on the importance of how to use the equipment and what behaviors are required when using the gear. And the time frame to learn this information was 1 month. The safety supervisor has made a purchase order for the gear that did arrive on time. The supervisor did organize one class for 30 of his 65 employees, and only 30 of those employees were trained. The remaining 35 employees did not get scheduled for a class, nor were they trained. And the employees failed to review the importance of the training, and now only 10 of those employees that were trained from the first class routinely follow through the safety behaviors required. Now, based on the current performance compared to the execution, what has the safety supervisor done well? Well, if we take a look at the document once again, you will see that he ordered the PPE equipment and 30 of the employees were trained. So that leaves 35 employees who were not trained. So that's where the safety supervisor has failed. Based on your answer, would you say that the supervisor has met expectations or has not met expectations? If you checked not met, you're correct. Despite ordering supplies and setting up the class, the safety supervisor has failed to implement the new safety measures. because there's still 35 employees who were not trained, and there's only 10 out of the 30 that are keeping up to date with the training and the equipment.
Hello there, my name is Jackson Laser of Group 3, and we're going to talk about performance conversations as well as driving accountability. So after this past recap, upon further inspection, the safety supervisor has not made any of the improvements that you have assigned to him on his plan. You've also heard through the grapevine that he thinks your plan is ridiculous. A follow-up conversation is needed to be had in order to drive accountability. So we're going to conduct role plays. And for those of you who are new to role plays, this could seem a little awkward, but understand that you will be the driving force behind this conversation. So there are 3 things that you must hit in this conversation as a manager in order to make this conversation a success. So the 3 things. First thing, and if you follow in the handout, you'll see these labeled as well. First thing is what. So you need to clarify that the employee understands what their goals were. Second, you need to make sure that they know how, what behaviors were needed in order to achieve the results that you expected of them, what behaviors were going to lead to a positive result. Third thing is when. They need to know the time frame. They need to make sure that they understood they have X amount of time in order to accomplish this. So these 3 things are essential in the conversation because they're leaving no room for confusion. This puts all the responsibility in the hands of the person that didn't perform. So the less room that they have for excuses, the better. Your goal is to basically have them admit that they alone are responsible for the lack of progress and the lack of performance. So down below, we have outcome goals. Pretty much what I just said, explain why they did not hit their goal. They need to be able to explain that to you. And the second thing is you need to commit to a solution, which we will explore more. Now, in addition to the 3 things we had mentioned before, there are a few things that you want to keep in mind when going into a conversation. First thing is remove any emotion. Performance conversations can get emotional, so it's best if you check your emotions at the door before heading in with the employee. Second thing is stay on topic. No one likes being told that they're not performing, and it's best to stay on topic. If the employee does change the subject, just continue to drive home why you're having the conversation and why you're in there. If you go off into the weeds with the employee on another topic, the conversation will not be successful and it will lack clarity. Third thing is you want to listen. It's important that you don't talk over the employee. It will make it seem like they're not being heard. Now, after the employee is done explaining the lack of actions and how they got there, you need to decide what you're going to do with that employee. So these are the solutions that we had mentioned before on the previous slide. So based on the employee's answers, you could do one of a few things. All these solutions are positive performance encouraging. So have the supervisor partner with another supervisor who has similar objectives, who is successful in their role. This could help the underperforming supervisor adopt a better business rhythm so that he can complete his objectives on time. The underperforming supervisor can also see how the performing supervisor implements new objectives with the team. See if there's a communication issue. If the supervisor does not allow himself to be subject to training and feels like the training is unnecessary, you have to move the employee to an action plan. Now, to discuss action plans. Action plans are documented plans that assign an employee a clear-cut objective with a clear-cut time frame of what they need to accomplish. This puts the employee in the driver's seat of their own development as well as their own fate. Now, if an employee does not meet these objectives, then the employee is either demoted from the position or terminated altogether from the company. All right, so now we will complete an accountability role play to help demonstrate a successful conversation. I will play the manager, and Rihanna will play the underperforming supervisor, known as Jimmy. So hello, Jimmy. We need to talk about your performance. Last month, I gave you a list of objectives to hit by the end of the month. Do you recall this?
Yes, I do.
So I asked you to order the personal protective gear, which you have done. I also asked you to hold multiple classes and train employees to use this gear and when to use it, along with seeing it build into their daily rhythms. Do you recall these objectives?
Yes, I do.
Well, these objectives have not been met, especially the latter ones. You say that you understand these objectives and you understand the time frame of getting it done this month, yet they're not complete. Why are these objectives not complete?
Well, have you checked in with Karen? Quality supervisor. I'm not sure she hit her objectives either. Also, Karen is always late to work. You know, she never prints double-sided when using the printer. It is a big waste of supplies for us, costing us money.
Jimmy, the conversation is about you and your performance, not Karen. Please tell me why you were not able to hit your objectives.
Look, it's a lot. I love the work you're doing and the mission. However, I just can't seem to understand how to hit all my new objectives along with my current objectives. There just does not seem to be enough hours in the day.
I understand this is a big change. Jimmy, how do you feel if I have you shadow Jose in Factory B? He is another safety supervisor who was able to successfully turn around his team 6 months ago. This would be a great opportunity for you to see his daily business rhythm and how he achieves his objectives.
Hey, I'm up for anything I can get.
Great, I'll arrange it. Now, Jimmy, let me be clear. I need you to adopt these new objectives and create a business rhythm, a better business rhythm around them. If you do not have your performance up by the end of the month, you'll be placed on an action plan. Do you understand me?
An action plan? Are you trying to fire me? Jumping Jesus!
Jimmy, first of all, an action plan is not a career death sentence. An action plan is a plan to help you improve. You are in control of your own destiny. Second, we will cross that bridge if we have to. For now, we are going to let you improve without an action plan. Okay?
Okay.
All right, so we're going to take a minute to reflect. So, with your handout that you were provided, let's go through this together. What behaviors did you observe in that role play? And also, what stuck out to you from the role play? Things that you might have observed. You heard Jimmy act out. He was obviously afraid for his position. You also heard Jimmy try to change the subject and pass blame along more than one occasion. Now, you also saw the manager take control of the situation and keep it on track in a calm, controlled way. Now, do all of you understand what is being asked of you? Yes? Okay. So now we're going to pair you up in groups of 2 and then let you each role play.
After completing this training, you now understand the foundational elements of being an agent of change. You will now be able to successfully hold performance conversations and drive accountability. This is crucial to the proper execution of your turnaround plan. Thank you for joining and participating in this training. We will now take any questions you have.